70 years. That's how long Jimmy Russell has been crafting bourbon and whiskey for Wild Turkey Distillery. And this bottle is their ultimate tribute. A limited release 8-year-old bourbon that's got everybody talking. But is this anniversary release really worth hunting down? Stick around as I dive into the taste, the story, and put it to the test on my rating scale, which I call the lightning counter, to see whether or not this rare gem deserves a spot on your shelf. Hey everybody, I am Brandon Spinner, and you've stormed yourself here into the Whiskey Weather YouTube channel, where it is always whiskey weather. Before we jump into the review, I want to know, what is your favorite Wild Turkey whiskey? Is it regular 101? Maybe it's rare breed? Or is it a Russell's blend? Whatever it is, drop that in the comment section below, and let's jump right into the review. If you haven't heard about it yet, Wild Turkey released an 8-year-old bourbon, which is an anniversary blend or a tribute blend to Jimmy Russell, the man, the myth, the legend. He's been with the company since September 10th of 1954. 70 years. And believe it or not, today's his birthday. I'm recording this on November 20th, 2024. Jimmy just turned 90 years old today. So happy birthday to Jimmy. This review's to you. Or at least I hope so, because I hope it's good. This is regular Wild Turkey bourbon, coming in with the same mash bill as always: 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. As it says on the bottle, 8 years old. But there's 9-year-old whiskey within the blend. And of course, this does come in at a pretty nice price, right at $49.99. But where's it going to count against the best bourbons of the year? Is this going to be one of the top releases? We're about to find out. On the nose, it has that distinct Wild Turkey funk, which I love. It's got a little bit of that dusty character. And those bright red cherries. Oh man, that is a delicious nose. Man, I love that. So 8 to 9 years old. Oh, the proof point, right at 101, but we kind of knew that already. Doesn't come off too hot. So if you're just new to the channel, I've got this 5-tier rating scale. It is 10 points. Each tier is worth 2. The first one is the nose. That's what we're rating now. And I got to go with a 1.8 on this. This nose is delicious. Just classic Wild Turkey. A lot of dark fruits with the cherry and even a little bit of that plum coming through. The oak. Overall, very pleasant. 1.8, that's the top score. Not the top score, but that is a high score. So 1.8 on the rating scale for the nose. As for we go with the palate. Let's burn off the bacteria on the tongue and really dive into what the taste is like. It's already better than the regular 101. If you didn't hear already, they're actually going back to the 8-year age statement on the regular 101, which how it was for years in the past, and then they switched it to no age statement, and they say it's supposed to be 6 to 8 years right now. But going forward, within the next year, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see that 8-year age statement back on the bottle. So the nose is great, and the palate matches it. There's that cherry, there's that Wild Turkey dusty funk. Just very good, solid. Caramels, vanillas, the classic bourbon notes that you're looking for. It's just a straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey. And I am a fan. So we'll do the palate and the mouthfeel rating all at once. It's got some legs on the glass. Mouthfeel slightly thin, so I'll knock it a little bit on that. But overall, creamy. It's got some viscosity, a little bit of oiliness. I'll call that a buttery mouthfeel. We'll go with 1.8 on the palate, but we're going to go with a 1.4 on the mouthfeel. I would hope for a little bit more viscosity, but not too bad. So a 1.8, a 1.8, and a 1.4. We're already sitting at a 5.0 out of 10, which would put it right in for the dead last position, and we haven't even got to the final 2 categories. So this has a good shot at finishing in the top 20 at least of this year's bourbons at this juncture. Yeah, I stick with the mouthfeel being slightly thin. That's really the worst part about this entire pour, and that's just being nitpicky. The finish You get a lot more of that cherry. There's leather, and if you've watched some of my previous reviews, like this one up here on the top right of your screen, you'll know that I say when a pour really takes over on the finish with a lot of leather and cinnamon, I think that kind of just takes a whole identity of the whiskey and kind of ruins it for me. This is really good on the finish. There's that oak. There is some of that like red hot cinnamon, but it's not overpowering. I get some leather, I get some oak, and even a little bit of tobacco. The caramels start to come through. You get a lot more of that oak and the char on the back end. Man, this is really good. We're gonna go with a 1.5 on the finish. I would want maybe a little more sweetness, but overall that's, again, being nitpicky. And for the value, that's the final rating on the Lightning counter. Coming in at $49.99, and I've seen it on the secondary market up to about $70, which is about the most I would pay on this, but $49.99, that's a hell of a value for 8 to 9 year old whiskey. Coming in right at 101 proof. I'm going to say the value on that has got to be a 1.9. Really, I don't think it could get much better. The only thing that I'll say is regular Wild Turkey 101 is $25 to $30. So with this being a tribute blend, does it really need to be $20 more? Maybe not, maybe $15 if I'm just going to be a nitpicker. I'd rather see it at $45, but hey, I'd go all the way up to $70. So 1.9. So the entire rating scale, we've got a 1.8, a 1.8, a 1.4, a 1.5, and a 1.8, or 1.9, excuse me. Let me do the math. Ooh, doggy. You ready for the drum roll? So the Lightning counter score comes in at 8.4 out of 10. Well, it's not the bourbon of the year. It is up there right now in the top 10, as you see here on the screen, with some of the other bourbons and whiskeys that I've rated so far this year, coming in just behind the last review that I did. Booker's, the reserves, but boy, this puppy is tasty. The hype is real. If you can find a bottle, maybe two, snatch it up, especially two. If you can find it for 50 bucks, two of these for $100, you won't be disappointed, unless you're just not a fan of Wild Turkey whiskey. But I am. I love what they're doing. So far, as you saw there on the top of the charts, Russell's Reserve 15 year, coming from the same distillery. Obviously, this is well out of the league of this, but this value blows this out. So if you had a choice between the two, I would still go with the Russell's 15. But this Wild Turkey 101, way better than that regular Wild Turkey, and right up there with Rare Breed. And if you're just going for the Rare Breed, you're probably going for the proof. This is a very easy sipper, and I think that it is well worth the hype that it is getting. If you did enjoy this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button below, smash the like button. But the best way to support this channel is share this video with your friends so they can be on to the Stormfront. Speaking of the Stormfront, I've got a bevy of Whiskey Weather Stormfront Patreon members, which you see up here on the right side of your screen. If you want access to barrel picks, special gatherings, and also some cool merch, maybe like this ugly sweater, you're going to want to join the Stormfront or hit that YouTube membership join button below, as we're trying to make it to 100 members by the end of 2024. But more importantly, I'm just trying to get this channel to 7,500 by the end of the year. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please smash that below and send this on to your whiskey-loving friend. I say it at the end of every video. Please drink responsibly, but don't forget, it is always whiskey weather. We'll see you in the next video, my friends. If you did enjoy this, you're going to love the rest of my bourbon reviews up there in the top right. Cheers, and have a great rest of your day.